In this presentation, I'm going to show you how to install and configure OpenLink Software's multi-tier server components for the purposes of connectivity to Progress. I'm going to be installing on a Unix operating system. This video presumes that you will be installing on a machine that contains a Progress DBMS with the target database file, or you're installing on a machine with a functional copy of Progress Client Networking. The video also presumes that you know some basic information about the target database. You need to know, is that database running in sockets or shared memory? Is the database accepting SQL 89 connections, SQL 92 connections, or both? If you can't answer these questions, you need to stop now and you need to view the video on Progress connectivity prerequisites. With that said, let's start. We're going to telnet into the machine that's going to host our multi-tier server components. And as you'll notice, this is an AIX box. We recommend that you SU to the Progress user. Use of the Progress user to install our software rules out the most common environment variable or permissions issues that are associated with use of our products. Short of SUing to Progress, you need to ensure that the local DLC environment variable is set. This is the environment variable that points to the root of the Progress installation. Here DLC is set. You also want to ensure that the local library environment variable contains DLC lib. As stated, I'm on AIX. The local library environment variable here is libpath. Now that the environment is set, we want to CD into the directory that contains our actual OpenLink installation files. You'll note that there are 4 files here. The first one, install.sh, is a simple ASCII shell script. If you use FTP to transfer any of your OpenLink installation files to this Unix or Linux box, you want to ensure that ASCII mode was used for install.sh. The remaining 3 files are all binaries. The oplrqb.lic file is the actual license file for the product. The oplrqb.tas file is the request broker installer. This file contains a generic listening service. This service listens for ODBC connections coming from OpenLink clients, and it simply spawns the agent that can service those connections. In our case, the servicing agent will be contained within the PRS 100_MV file. This file contains a Progress 10 SQL 92 database agent. Depending on the version of your Progress database and the functionality that you need, your own Progress database agent installer may have a different name. To kick off the installation, it's just a matter of running sh space install.sh. I have multiple multi-tier installations running on this machine for development purposes, QA purposes, and so forth. So this message is just alerting me to the fact that there is a running broker. At this point, the installer is going to extract the components that are contained within the oplrqb.tas and prs100_mv.tas files. This does take a second. Here you're going to see that the installer is prompting for a port. This is the first of 2 ports that it will prompt for. This particular port is the request broker's listening port. This is the port that the request broker will listen on for all ODBC connections coming from OpenLink components. The default value is 5,000. However, you may need to change it or you may want to change it, and that's fine. The second port that it prompts for is the Admin Assistance listening port. The Admin Assistant is a web-based GUI. You can use this GUI to configure virtually every aspect of your multi-tier server components connectivity. Now the default is 8,000, but you can change that as needed. Log file. This particular log file pertains to the Admin Assistant. This log file is seldom used for diagnostics or for auditing. We suggest that you just go with no, which is the default. Log all requests, again, just go with the default value of no. The administrator account, this is the user ID that you would use to log into your Admin Assistant when you want to access functionality that is secured. The default is admin, but we always suggest that you do change that. The administrator's password is the password that's going to be associated with the above username. That's also admin, and you do want to change that. If you ever want to use your Admin Assistant or just see what it does or looks like, you just go to this address in a browser and you will see the Admin Assistant. The installation has completed, but we're not done yet. We do need to do a few more things to ensure that our multi-tier server components installation is ready for use. Here you're going to note that there are two shell scripts, OpenLink.sh and OpenLink.csh. These files contain identical sets of environment variables. The only difference is the environment that these scripts were meant to run in. The .csh file is applicable to C-based shells. OpenLink.sh would be for use in your Korn, Bourne, or Bash shell. I prefer to run this script in Bourne or Bash, and I call it like this, .space./openlink.sh. Depending on what shell you're using, your syntax will vary. This is not an error message. This is purely informational. It's letting me know that another license manager is running and will manage the license aspect of my connectivity, and that's fine. As you can see, execution of this command produces no output. That is actually the correct behavior. If you're in doubt about whether or not your environment variables are set, you can use the echo command to check them. We suggest that you check using the odbc ini environment variable. And you will see that this variable does point to the odbc.ini file that resides in the bin subdirectory of OpenLink. So we do know that openlink.sh did run and did set the environment. Next, you want to copy your opl rqb.lic file to the bin subdirectory of OpenLink. This is not mandatory, but it is a good idea because it makes it easy to locate the license file. If you choose not to put oplrqb.lic in OpenLink bin, you do need to set an OpenLink specific environment variable that tells our product where that license file is. And the environment variable is opl_license_dir. It passes the full path to the directory that contains the license file. At this point, we can cd into the bin subdirectory of OpenLink and start our request broker process. This is the oplrqb. This is the actual request broker file. This is how you would start it. And it's running. One other thing that we suggest that you do while you're here is make sure that your database agent is functional. The way to do that is to get it to return version and usage information. And this is what you would do. You would type the name of the agent on the command line, followed by space minus question mark. Here you see quite a bit of usage information and the version. And this is what you want. Once you know that your request broker is running and your database agent is functional, you're ready to test your connectivity with your OpenLink client installation. This concludes this lesson.